Testing, testing, testing. Ugh. So sleepy, so sleepy, so sleepy. Oh, hello. All right. It's time to do some JavaScript work. Make some money. Do some billable work. I've got the Christmas. I don't know. It's like I'm tired and it's kind of cold because I could put a sweater on. But what I'm going to work on today is some JavaScript coding for this Learning Sciences project. It's a web application running on Node.js. The Node server, it connects all these web applications together so graphics can happen in a learning environment. Let's just call it that. So let me get the environment stuff up. I am very sleepy. But I'm hoping that once I get going on this, that sleepiness will go away. And I'm going to focus on one thing. Oops. First, which is to pick up where I left off last week. Clear out some of the desktop stuff here. Let's go switch to my continuity document. The last thing I worked on, apparently, that was that long ago, December 7th. No, I did stuff since then. Let me check my timesheet on the other machine over here. Yeah, what did I do? Actually, that's the last time I didn't do anything. All right, well, I guess the rest of this week will be catching up on project work. What's happened since then? Oh, that was all the print stuff that happened at the end of the week and the beginning of this week. So that's where that time went. But what time is it now? It's about 2 o'clock. Let's call it 2 o'clock. And I am working on marker sprite support. According to this, I need to actually add a set radius command to the marker. Oh, not marker. It's not called marker sprite. The marker visual. Add set radius, which is more tricky than you'd think. So what marker sprite is well, let me just get this thing running again so I can remember what I'm doing. Let's move this window over here. Let's unshrinkify it. And we will need to cd dev, cd play, build gulp. That runs my build tool, which does a bunch of compile things and linting things, and I put that lint error still in there. It is. So now it's running my feature branch, DS display list. Let's pull up some browser windows. Let's go to localhost 3000. Let's pull up a debug console. And I think specifically I'm testing, let's pull display server. This is actually not quite the right test, but. And here on the display client, oops. Let's just call it display. No, it's not going to work. Localhost 3000. Oops. So this is just shipping some of the data across, but the specific version is particles. What particles needs to do is move a few of these commands. Things that are missing from this. I don't know if you can see this. These blue circle things that are moving. These are markers. And then on this side, though, there's some additional properties that are not being moved over. The outline color isn't coming across, and these lines aren't coming across. Also, there's a bug in which the size of these markers needs to change too. You can initialize them at start time, but the way that the client renderer is working, which is receiving all the graphics display data, it initializes these to a fixed size because the actual size is not known when the new data starts coming in. And we haven't had the need to change the size of these things on the fly before. Therefore, there's no ability to do that. So that's what I need to add. So I guess the way to do this would be to go here. Well, let me just make sure that no one has committed any new code that I should know about. This is the wrong one. Repository. This one I don't need. But this one I do. Let's do a fetch. Any new code commits? Doesn't look like it. Everything's the same. No one's on vacation right now. Alright. So what I typically do when I'm doing something like this is I use a piece of paper to keep track of my thoughts as they go. Otherwise, I will tend to get distracted. Well, here's a piece of paper. What I'll do is write down set radius for marker sprite, or not marker sprite. What is it called? Let's see, set, this is in Visual Fact, or X Visual Factory, which is a module that creates visuals. A visual is a object on the screen. It's the visual representation of a logical piece in our architecture. I just accidentally turned off the monitor when I was raising it, so now I can't see what it's doing. Come on, wake up. There we go. So, in Visual Factory, we have these things like make rectangle, and this is some of the oldest code in the code base. This goes back 2 or 3 years. And so it's some of the worst code. This is when we were still figuring out, or rather I should say I was still figuring out how to write JavaScript code that was modular using, and at the same time using this graphics library called 3GS, which is a wrapper around the WebGL hardware accelerated graphics layer that's available in browsers. The requirements of this project were such that we needed to use browsers. So we were actually pretty fortunate to be able to use WebGL. It had become mature enough that it was a real option. Here we go. I guess I did call it a marker sprite. It's not a I guess you could call it a sprite. Keep things. We have another sprite class as a bitmap sprite. So I guess that's okay. So the marker sprite, set radius. Since this is such old code, I'm going to have to look at it to re-understand how I'm making this thing. And right off the bat, I can see that we're doing object composition. So make marker sprite returns a new visual. I should rewrite all of this, but it creates something called circ. But what it's doing is it's recreating this function every time, which seems dumb. I'm not sure if I really want to rewrite this though as a regular into a class. Might be easier to read. Because every time we make one of these, it creates a new. Let's see. Let me look at, I'm going to outline the structure of this. So we have, it creates a number of sub-elements. Oh, I'm so tempted to rewrite this, but all right. We create a circle using something called make circle. Now we create another something called, we have circ, which is the main object. We have, and this is a circle geometry. What does that look like though? Make another view into this. Where is that? File, new view into file. So you can look this side by side. And on this side, circle. Oh, wait. There is no make circle here. That's because it's in the parent class, Visual Factory, I think. Oops. So let's see, make circle. Now what does make circle do? It makes a circle geometry. So we need to look that up. A new circle geometry, and it creates a mesh, which is the geometry and the material. So theoretically, if we want to reset the radius of this, we need to reset the geometry. Anyway, in addition to circle, there's a sprite associated with this too. I think this is used by someone else to make the little lightning symbols over these. And this should be drawn relative. Circ, yeah. This is a child of circle. So that actually needs to be shipped over as well. And then we have line, oh, we have surround rather, which is another circle. And line, and lines, it's a weird class. This is a from make line. Now there's another thing called dashed lines, which I guess this is where Tal added some stuff. What's an area? Oh, the area. This has a lot of stuff in it. Area is the area. This is the semi-transparent area of effect, I think. And there's an update function. Is this actually used anymore? Oh, sprite is used for costumes. And there's a bunch of hide costumes. This is one of those classes that have grown organically throughout the years. I'm trying to make a list of all these functions. Let me start doing that. And I can put this into our documentation pass. Alright, so in right down here. So another way of doing this would be to if I can do this. I have an inspect Oops, where'd it go? Window, inspect object. Let's see what this does. If it does what I think it will. Oops. Uh-oh. What does this do? Euler order, move to rotation Euler. It's odd. Did I screw something up in this? Something about that code I put in I didn't like. Inspect object is a utility that I have. I'm surprised it's not working. Why would it create this error? That's some sort of weird side effect. Order. Oh, you know what it might be? It's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to walk this object, but I guess since this is not a regular class like the other ones, I can't actually use my inspect object method on it because it's defined so weirdly. Alright, so I guess we'll do this the hard way. So what do we have here? We have circ, we have surround, sprite, we have sur, line, lines, dashed lines, area, and then we have circ dot costume, circ.update, circ.set costume, text name, text scale, circ hide costume, circ has costume, has costume, circ show area effect, circ hide area effect, circ set color, there's set opacity, lerp color, color alpha, no. Circ hide line, circ show line. I'm getting sleepy typing this. Circ set line, x2, y2. Circ set line width, circ set line color, that's interesting. Circ draw dashed line, 0.1, 0.2, line settings. That's a new routine. Circ hide dashed lines, circ draw mirrored dashed line, pt1, pt2 line settings, hide lines. Circ hide all lines. What's index for? Oh, it's hiding a specific line. I'm sure that's a good way of putting it. Hide all lines. Show lines. Set. Damn it, I keep mistyping this. Set lines. Index x2. y2. Set lines width. Why I keep screwing this up? Lines width. Index width. Lines color. Good lord. Index color. Set lines opacity. Index alpha. Hide circle. Oh. Hide circle. Show circle. Alright, why do I keep doing this? The keyboard's pissing me off. This chair is sickening too. That's what we get for buying a refurb share. Hide, show surround, set surround color, hide surround, toggle surround. Oh. Delete all these. So there is our reference. So basically we have 3 sets of line drawings. We have a bunch of things that set all these parameters. If it's settable here, we probably want to be able to have it settable on the other side. Let me just cut. Let me copy these to a reference in our GitHub. I'm getting super tired. I didn't start the timer. How long has it been? 20 minutes. Okay, so in my wiki, checking the work log here. And the wiki, I want to make a reference for a marker sprite. Play notes. That's weird. Keyboard key got stuck. Marker. I just want to save this for reference. So let's get the first 15 minutes. View marker sprite organization. Now that we have the marker sprite organization somewhat known, now we're going to look at adding how to reset the geometry of circle. Which means we need to look at circle geometry, which means we should go to the 3JS website. Circle. Circle geometry. And then we want to add our set radius. Circle geometry. What is in circle geometry? So it looks like there's a constructor. There's a new buffer geometry. That's interesting. What's a buffer geometry? This from buffer geometry. Can you still write? Object creates. From geometry. Our constructor is this. It calls geometry superclass. What's a circle buffer geometry? What I'm trying to find is the data structure. What does this do? Circle buffer geometry. Radius. So this must create a buffer full of vertices, I'm guessing. Parameters. Radius segments, theta start, theta length. Radius defaults to 50. I guess the easiest thing to do would just be to make set radius set a new buffer geometry. It seems kind of wasteful. Because all this is doing is going through the segments and calculating the position of the XY. That's all it's doing. But just for expediency, let's just make a new circle geometry. It seems kind of a waste. But I don't think I want to get into the internals of 3JS. So I don't think I do. Is there a buffer geometry? Let's look at their buffer geometry class. It's an efficient alternative to geometry because it stores all data, includes vertices, positions, blah, blah, reduces the cost of passing all the data to the GPU. You roll, oh, okay. Oh. Circle buffer geometry. Are there two kinds? Is there a circle geometry and a circle? Are these actually different? Here, when I'm looking at circle geometry, because this looks kind of like the same thing. I guess what I'll just do is create a new geometry and jam it in there. All right, so an X Visual Factory. Let's add a set radius. The radius, don't believe I have. There's a whole bunch of radiuses that need to be set though. Let's make circle. Am I saving this data? Saving the radius here. The surround gets the same radius? Yes. Although, oh, here's radius shrink. Alright, so the radius is shrunk first. So it's a little bit smaller. Okay, so set radius. Rad shrink. Circ radius is equal to radius past n times shrink factor. So we need to make sure that we always set that. Why is this in here? Methods. I am so tired. Set radius. Oops. Equals function. I'm finding this really. Why am I so tired? So we need to make a circle geometry. Var geo equals new3 circle geometry. And it's going to be rad times this. So if this set radius is being called, it's being called the radius that's passed in there. We want to use rad shrink. And this needs to affect both the surrounds. New circle geometry. Radius is the inner radius times rad shrink. Set the radius of the marker sprite and adjust internal features. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm not gonna last long. Let's see if we can just get this to replace the radius size and I'll be happy. I am underslept today. Radius, and where's radius shrink? it's here, it should be accessible. I don't like the way I'm defining it there. And the segments should be 16. Whatever the segments were before. Var, damn it. Var, let's ready to shrink. Segments. What else do we need? I'm looking over here on the left. That's it, I guess. And we should be able to then reach into what is in circ? Just dump it. Circ. I need to call the set radius from someplace. And where will that be? Display client. I guess I'll just make a regular marker. Losing my focus. I might have to take a power nap. What I'm stuck on right now is whether or not I want... I already forgot what I was going to say. I want to inspect the inside of this, but I'm not sure I can call the set radius on this. But I will... radius. There's this. Let me add that to my display model. Display list. Where's display list? Yeah. Display list. Under mesh. Marker. I'll just do it using my... I think I'll just have marker sprite save the last sprite then. So down here. Go too far. Stuff. Before we return that, window, marker. I'll just save that there. So now I should have something called circ. A window, what do they call it again? Marker. Alright, so that's where I have to look. I believe circle should have a geometry. Oops, what happened? It did. If geometry, it's a circle geometry. Face vertices array. Group needs elements need update. There's a lot of stuff in here. Vertices need update. I think what I need to do see if there's any needs update stuff in here. So theoretically, I think debugging. Falling asleep. And set radius. So I make the new geometry circ. It's just geometry is equal to geo. Is that right? This is circ geometry. Okay, oops. Let's directly with circ the tree. Saves needs update. Oops. Oh. Alright, let's see if that actually does something. So in display client, marker, or I guess it's in display list. Marker. This is where I need to write this marker sprite. DD OBJ visual set radius item radius. I don't think this will do anything. It does seem to have. Let's see if the radius is the right size, but I think I was already Is it even doing anything? Let's screw this up and let's make that twice as big, just to see if it actually has an effect. It does. That's a promising point. Okay. So next, have to send colors or adjust set radius, surround radius, initialize the colors, and initialize the line array. That I'm not quite sure how to do. But I am going to lie down for a sec because I am falling asleep. It was only like 45 minutes. So actually I guess that works. 45 minutes followed by a 15-minute rest. It's kind of reminds me of that, was it Pomodoro? So it's 12 minutes, 3 times 12 minutes, and a 12-minute break or something like that. But at least I got to a point where something worked as expected. So I'm going to lie down for a second and pick this up in a little bit. Part 1 concludes.